that music.
He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who just rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Hello and welcome back to Bat Minute Returns, the show that's made a list and we're here to check it twice. We're coming for you. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And I am admiring the rear end of this giant duck, Niall McGowan.
Oh yeah, flaunt it, baby. We are joined once again by our very special guests. We have Murren and Jessa of Point Break Minute.
Hello.
I wanted to make some kind of Point Break pun, but realised I couldn't top you guys. I couldn't do it any better.
We struggle with that ourselves, and we're deep in it, so no judgment here.
I was trying to think. I think we probably did talk about last time, if Patrick Swayze would have been a good Batman. It feels like that's a thing we would have talked about.
Yeah.
But I have to say, as much as I love Busey, I would totally have Danny DeVito as Pappas in Point Break.
That'd be great.
Okay.
I would just love to see that. And plus, he's wearing a wig like Gary Busey's hair in the movie.
Yes.
So it's just even weirder.
I would like to see Danny DeVito doing more serious roles. I want to see him in a really heavy sort of Oscar bait drama.
Oh, yes.
Have you seen Hoffa?
I have not. I have heard of it. I know what it is, but I haven't seen it.
No, it's a decent movie, and he's pretty good in it. He produced it, I think. I was going to say he directed it. I don't think he did that, but he produced it.
He did direct it, yeah.
Oh, he did?
It was... he did direct it. Well, I think we briefly mentioned it because of the fact that it's got Jack Nicholson in it, and the guy who the penguin bites the nose of earlier in the movie is also in the movie.
It's a reunion of sorts, but it's a pretty good movie, and he does a dramatic performance in it. Yeah, I guess I can't really think of anything else where he's not a little bit goofy, at least.
Yeah, he tends to play that kind of part, doesn't he? Even if it is a serious movie, it's not like a thriller or a historical piece or something.
What's that John Travolta movie, the Elmore Leonard one?
Get Shorty.
Get Shorty, yeah, where he's playing an actor, a prestige actor in that movie, but he's kind of poking fun at the...
Oh, didn't we just see that?
We watched that, a few months ago.
Recently.
Not really recently, but pretty...
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
in
John
the last
Travolta.
year. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
And you've forgotten it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mostly forgotten it. But he's... They poke fun at the idea of him being a prestige actor. He's just done the Napoleon movie. And it's won 5 Academy Awards. And
That would be so perfect.
yeah, how has he not done that?
Wasn't he also in... that's an ironic thing, too, because it wasn't... Kubrick was planning to make that Napoleon movie, and he wanted Jack Nicholson to play Napoleon.
Oh my god.
Everything's connected.
Yeah. But was it... Because I remember when I was a kid, was it The Rainmaker, the John Grisham thing? That was a big movie, and I know... I'm pretty sure Danny DeVito's in it, but it was one of those things that, when I was a kid, it looked like that is the most boring movie ever makes. It's just John Grisham legal drama. And it's just 2 guys in suits on stairs, and I never went back to it. But now, I probably could watch The Rainmaker now and be like, oh, it's great. But I can imagine that could potentially be a Danny DeVito serious role, because it looks like it would be a very dry, serious movie.
Yeah.
It's John Grisham, and it's legal drama.
It's just tough. I mean, it's tough being 4'10", and he looks very funny, and it's not much you can do about that. I think if he'd been born a little more normal, a little more an average height, he might have had more opportunities to. Because I think he's a great actor. He's one of the best, really. And
he's in a pretty good position at the minute, though, with It's Always Sunny, because he just gets to have a steady job. This looks like it's a ton of fun to work on.
I think he loves doing that. So he's definitely done well for himself, and I think but I think if he had been, more of a traditional looking person, or average. I don't want to try and use the right phrase here. More what we expect to see in movies. He might have had more opportunities and gotten more Oscar gold, perhaps, more opportunities for that.
Oh, well, he's made it work for him. You work with what you got. He's exploited
He definitely has.
the problem and made it into not a problem. That's great.
I don't think he's in a position now, like the day, knock on wood, that doesn't come for many years yet. But when the day Danny DeVito dies, there will be a genuine sense of mourning throughout.
Oh, yeah.
Like most of most of the Western world will be like, oh, Danny DeVito's dead. Yeah. Like I think he is beloved by pretty much everyone who knows who he is.
How can you not like him? He does like I'm glad that he's had the career that he has, because no one else is like him. Yeah. He stands out incredibly well. He stands out, no pun intended, head and shoulders above many other more average looking actors and average performers, where he does what no one else does.
We love you, Danny.
Yeah.
But I should introduce the minute, actually. I've just realised. Oh, holy crap.
Oh, yeah.
This is minute 93. The minute starts with a bobbing bird booty, and it ends with the penguin handing out printouts like he's at some kind of business meeting. It's always exciting when you get a printout, isn't it? Everyone loves to receive those. You don't just throw them away as soon as you get home.
But here's one thing, though, and this might be... I'm not too sure if this is a thing that would have been ever big in America, but it's an impulse now that I have, and it's a stupid superstition.
That's hard to say, isn't it? Jesus.
But like, are you guys in America? You have the magpie thing where you're supposed to salute if you see a single magpie.
Never heard of that.
You're supposed to salute it.
No,
it's the whole 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, all that stuff.
We don't have a lot of magpies here either. It's not very common.
I was thinking that might have been the issue. That probably might be around your area. But because now I got into that, like, even though I know it's ridiculous, but you always have the little superstitions here, like don't walk under ladders, which is maybe just a safety thing more than anything else. And, black cats crossing your path. And, of course, my dad is always the thing of like, oh, yeah, magpies. If you see a single magpie, because it's 1 for sorrow, you have to salute it, and that will negate the sorrow. But now it's so inbuilt in me. Whenever I see any black and white bird, I'm like, do I have to salute this thing? Or so seeing these penguins now, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. They kind of look like magpies. I know that they're not, but I'll give them a little salute anyway, just in case. Just like salute the computer screen. Just be like, all right, just doing it offhandedly, like my hands just sort of grazing my forehead as I'm scratching myself or something. But
I'm seeing that we supposedly do have magpies in our area, but I don't see them ever. So maybe they're just we'd see a lot of crows, a lot of pigeons.
What a magpie looks like.
They're like black and white.
Oh.
All birds look the same to me, unless they're a specific color. Yeah, it's like, okay, it's black. I don't know, there's a lot of black birds.
That's pretty birdist of you.
I don't see bird color. No, it is. I don't like birds. I don't care.
I'm
for
not a
them.
bird person either.
They're weird, which is odd because I love dinosaurs, and they are dinosaurs, basically. So you'd think I would like them, but no, they just irritate me. Especially pigeons with their gnarled feet. So as the penguin arrives with this wonderful, creepy Burton music playing, I say
Danny
Burton
Elfman
music. Burton
music,
didn't do it, but what I mean is it's Burton-esque music. It's it sums up his aesthetic in audio form. But as he arrives, he greets his comrades here with, "Did you miss me?" And it's like
my babies.
I love that. My babies.
Babies. Oh, are they? Does he see them as pets, as children, as friends?
I mean, I think babies. I think they're his children.
Babies.
Or at least maybe his brethren.
It's I don't know, because they seem on I don't know, equal footing almost. He doesn't seem to treat them any less than himself or his other gang members.
Oh, he doesn't. Well, we're going to see it in a couple of seconds. He does seem to have some disdain for some of his gang members.
I think he respects his penguins. His gang members are kind of disposable to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I will. I was going to leave this until later in the episode, but I think I could throw it in now because it's relevant. There's a thing in the original Dan Waters draft, which is, again, saying like, oh, the downfall of the penguin in that draft is quite subdued, but then he'll throw you a curveball and introduce something crazy like this. So when the penguin returns to the sewers, He's doing all this, all my babies and talking to everyone and stuff. And then it has this occurs then. That the penguin spins to see 4 great-bellied emperor penguins from the opening scene. So those 4 that came up and found apparently the ones that found him when he was a child. Yeah. They emerge from the dark patch in the back of the lair. All penguins and people go silent to behold their royal appearance, except for a middle of a conversation, Dwarf 2. So this Dwarf 2 apparently says, so I slammed down that bat spotlight thing, and man, if you could have seen the look on his face. It then says, not taking his eyes off the emperors, Penguin whaps the dwarf with one of his flippers and says, shut up, shorty. The elders. Oh, mighty, wondrous, luminous mentors. What does your appearance in this tumultuous period mean? The 4 elder penguins suddenly simultaneously bray, then stop.
Pray.
The penguin's face melts into much more seriousnh, then explodes into
the penguin's
glee.
face melts from the just like the guy in Rage of the Lost Ark.
But he slides across the remains of the ice conference table and says, it's all so clear. You want me to go back one last time. If I can't be king, I'll destroy the kingdom. If I can't have Gotham's respect, I'll get the next best thing. It's fear. Make that the first best thing. So basically what this script is positing is that he has been raised specifically by 4 penguins who he views as, and the Red Triangle gang seem to view as kind of like Yoda, basically. Which is just, it's even weirder than anything else that's in this movie.
That's pretty strange.
Yeah, it's just almost were these penguins, were they the previous leaders of the Red Triangle gang or something? Like,
I'm accepting that as canon.
Yeah. I like the fact that the Tim Burton, he kept in the shot of the 4 penguins finding him at the beginning, but then he's like, oh no, we're getting rid of that. That's too stupid.
Now, are these penguins a mix of puppets and real penguins?
Yes, yeah, it's a mixture of the two. The bigger ones in most... I mean, there are some big ones that are real in the movie, but in most scenes, the bigger penguins are the animatronics.
Okay.
And the smaller penguins, there's some real ones dotted in. Like, the ones swimming are real.
That's wild.
And a couple of the ones standing with the big ones are real. But yeah, so it's a good blend, I think. You've got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, you can see some of the puppety movements are pretty puppety. But yeah, it's fun to see the real penguins.
Oh, they're awesome. Any excuse to see penguins, come on.
Yeah.
They're great. Always one of my favorite exhibits at the zoo.
Yeah, they're always most fun. They always look like they're happy to be there, where most animals don't.
Yeah.
Penguins are just like, cool, whatever, yeah. Just chill.
Yeah, that and I always like the otters too. Otters look like they're just playing and having a good time.
Yeah, oh, it's nice. It's lovely. Whereas when you go and see some of the... Sometimes you see like the tigers or the bears or something, and you think to yourself, I mean, that's a big enclosure, but is it really big enough? I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you start questioning it.
I mean, you go, you see the lions, the tigers, and the bears, and you go,
Oh my.
Oh my.
I'm sorry. I ruined your punchline. You had it. You had it right
no,
there.
I think we said it in tandem. So if that can sync up perfectly, it's even better.
Yes, you've improved it. You can just edit it in post now. Match it up.
Yeah, just make it sound just right.
Well, I would love it if one of these penguins was actually the real leader of the gang behind the scenes. He's been pulling the strings all along. There's a king penguin, and the penguin is his subordinate. That's what I want that you've said.
This guy's only penguin, but this is the penguin.
The penguin, the king penguin.
I mean, though, that original Waters draft kind of is suggesting that, yes, there are 4 penguins who are bigger deals than Oswald Cobblepot.
The Penguin Council. They make our Pengie here. They make him a member of the council, but not a master.
Oh.
This is outrageous. It's unfair.
That would be amazing. And this is him trying to win their approval, this plan. They'll make me a master yet.
The only penguin to be accepted to the council but not made a master.
We've improved the movie. I didn't think that was possible.
But yeah, like we get the penguin, going up in just sort of walking into his living room, basically. And we get a return of Dougie Jones, the Dougie Jones clown.
Yay.
Okay, you guys don't know, that's Doug Jones. That's the guy from Shape of Water,
Awesome.
and Hellboy and stuff. Comes in with his one line of the movie with great speech, Oswald, which I love his delivery.
It's fantastic.
He seems genuinely enthusiastic about, like, oh, that was so good.
Yeah, it's not remotely sarcastic or anything. He's really into it.
Is he listening to like the recording playing Heart from Hell line over and over again? He's like, oh yeah, he's really getting it this time.
He's emphasizing that point. Like, he really played that city.
He's really using
like a Heart
repetition
from
well.
Hell.
Yes, it's like poetry. I love as well the Penguin. As soon as he's among all these people, well, especially among the Penguins, but among his gang and everything, he completely changes demeanor in a second, because he's no longer like huffing and like scared, because he genuinely seemed frightened when he was running away there. As soon as he gets back, he feels more comfortable. This is his territory. This is his yard. He is home.
Yeah. And doesn't mind like properly smacking this guy into submission too.
He's taken the power back.
I just love how nice Doug Jones is. He's just it's a good line delivery. Just like, oh, great speech, Oswald. He's the nicest clown I've ever heard, really.
So there's a couple of ways you could take that. In that, I think in the Shrek revised draft, he actually has another line of like, "Oh, great speech, Oswald. You really told those rubes."
Oh,
as if like he thought that was part of the master plan, was to get everyone together and then just call the city a bunch of idiots, pretty much. Whereas this one seems like, the clown himself is merely an idiot, and he just thinks like, that was a great speech.
But it was.
He doesn't realize that everything's gone wrong. Or it could be like, it's like, oh, I know, me and Oswald have hung out for years. Maybe if I just joke around and I'm like, hey, great speech, Oswald, it'll break the tension. It'll break the ice in this ice cave.
Oh.
It does not work, does it?
No. It's an impressive thump he gives too. It's a like proper backhanded brawly punch.
It looks like he actually hits him.
Like, imagine Doug Jones probably would, but yeah, go ahead. Like,
Do
we're
it.
gonna do this take once, right? Like, take 35. It's like, oh god, I should never have agreed to this. I do like as well though, as he goes down, we do see, because we've seen a lot of the same members of the Red Triangle Gang over, but we do see some sort of behind the rock. There's a sort of a woman we've not seen before in similar clown makeup. Actually, the clown makeup in this looks kind of similar to what they're doing with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Yeah.
In this upcoming movie, weirdly enough, but
I'm still on the fence about that. I need to see more. I'm going to watch it either way, but I'm undecided on it.
Yeah, let's hope for the best. Yeah. But yeah, she kind of ducks down. She's almost kind of like struck me as a very kind of monkey-esque kind of crouch or something. I wonder if that was her note that she was going for, like, this is monkey clown girl or something. And that's why she's in that particular, because all the like, if you get to be in the movie, you could come up with your own characters and do whatever the hell you want and stuff. But
you might as well. Yeah. It's not like they've given them much to work with. Yeah.
So I just want to say that all these years later, that extra might have been like, no one ever noticed what I was going for with Monkey Clown Girl, but like, here we are now. We are acknowledging if that's what you're doing. Great job.
If you're listening out there, good job.
Yay! Come on the show. No, there's not time left to get you on. I'm sorry.
No.
You could come on for a bonus.
Of course, then we get the Penguin ripping off the rags of his of the performance he had
trappings.
when he was a human. Yes, the trappings. I have to say too, as a guy who's worn suspenders in the past, the fact that they don't break off when he rips off that waistcoat. It's pretty good, because they're feather buttoned in ones,
they're
so they are
proper
harder.
ones, yeah.
You get those clip-on ones; those things will freaking fly off at the slightest gust of wind. They're terrible.
And they're straining. They're straining against the Penguin's bulk there, so he has a lot of body to cover with those suspenders.
Oh yeah. Jesus, I didn't even think about that. The like width of his body, like the other way, going from his chest to his back. That's big. That's really stretching those.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still always inquiring about. I remember in the rewatching episodes recently of Third Rock from the Sun, and you'd see Dick Solomon would wear suspenders and a belt, and I was just like, is that supposed to be like an indication that he's an alien, so he doesn't really understand what these things are for?
I think so.
Or is it just that in the 90s, people were terrified that their trousers would just fall open or something? Like,
There's a quote from one of my favorite movies, Once Upon a Time in the West, that I think it was, what am I losing the name now? The main guy,
Charles Bronson.
Charles Bronson says something about a man who wears belt and suspenders doesn't trust his own pants or something, and he like shoots the guy in the belt buckle and it flies off and his pants fall down.
Oh my god, we need to quote that in the title of this episode or something.
Yeah, I have to find the actual quote somewhere. To get so I'm not just paraphrasing, but it's a good line. It's funny, and the belt and suspenders. You have something's going on there if you feel like you need both.
Maybe he's a serial flasher and it's to stop himself. Anything to just strap it all down. Any extra steps will help.
Although talking about famous quotes, we have the Penguin paraphrasing a famous quote now of him saying is, my name is not Oswald. My name is Penguin. I am not a human being. I am an animal. Which, of course, is a direct reference to the David Lynch movie The Elephant Man, where John Hurt's John Merrick, the Elephant Man, the titular Elephant Man, of course, when he's been chased by people and cornered, I mean, the mob has him, lets out this, bellow, and then comes out with the famous line of like, I am not an animal, I am a human being, and all this stuff. So they're doing a nice flip of that, and it's the thing is, like, if Lynch hadn't got there first, the Elephant Man seems like that would have been a Tim Burton story.
He definitely
he's essentially been telling it.
Yeah,
definitely could have done that. I just wanted to correct myself. It was actually Henry Fonda's character that says that.
Oh.
How can you trust a man who wears both a belt and suspenders? The man can't even trust his own pants.
Yes, that's it. It's perfect. Well, look, the Penguin, he's trusting his pants there. They're doing a good job. But no, that back to your thing there, Niall. Burton. I think Burton doing the Elephant Man would be good in this era. That'd be great. He would do a fantastic job of it. But it wouldn't be the movie we got.
No,
it wouldn't be. I mean, and obviously the David Lynch one isn't very David Lynch specifically. It's not got a lot of his hallmarks.
Well,
but
it does have a lot of, like, you could tell this is the guy who made Eraserhead.
From the way it's shot, I think, more than any like of the content necessarily. But there's some stuff. There's some stuff.
I mean, the character of just the Elephant Man in general, though, is it's very Edward Scissorhands for one thing.
Yeah.
So, and then it's also very Oswald Cobblepot in this iteration. In fact, like, John Merrick in real life and in that movie is, a performing circus freak who was taken in by someone, from the higher classes and sort of paraded around, has been like, oh, this is a new person I've found and stuff like that. So there is a kind of things like, obviously was a Frederick Treves, like Anthony Hopkins plays him in the movie, but some accounts say not as respectful as the way the movie portrays him. Apparently, he might have been a bit more of an opportunist in his treatment of John Merrick in real life, or some people he was just a nice guy who tried to help out this poor man and stuff. But yeah, so there's cause for this quote to be here. Like, it's a good intertextual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it works well, and especially since the movie references so many other movies already, it just kind of works with the whole tone of it.
Yeah. Although, it would be remiss as well if we didn't mention the fact that the Elephant Man on stage, of course, has been famously played by many big actors. David Bowie played him on stage for a while. They do that thing in the on stage version where they don't have any makeup. So I think you can get footage of Bowie playing him, where he's just got David Bowie's face, but he's kind of talking, like he can't quite speak properly and stuff. But also Mark Hamill, who would be the greatest Joker. He also played in between Empire and Return of the Jedi. Apparently on Broadway, played the Elephant Man. So
cool.
And of course David Bowie was in consideration for playing Max Shrek in this movie. So it's all connected, baby.
Everything's connected. I would have liked Bowie's Shrek. I think I've mentioned it before. I mean, I don't want to remove Walken from the movie. Just I'd like to visit the other realm, the other dimension where it happened.
Yeah.
It would have been something cool about it, and kind of like a little, almost more creepy. Because Walken isn't exactly creepy; he's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
But it would have been. I think Bowie would have been a little more creepy and threatening.
Yeah. It's like even in the Prestige when he's Tesla, he has an aura of kind of sinister mystery about him, even though he's playing a real life person and stuff.
Yeah.
Where you're kind of like, can you trust this guy? Like, what's he up to? Like, he's come with this mysterious box and he's got all these ominous warnings. Like, what? He does have a sinister edge to him, by the way. But yeah, tragically we missed out on that one. But we got Walken's Shrek, so I'm not too sad.
Yes, and we of course we have Danny DeVito's Penguin, which we were talking about, and I have in the strict revised draft a bit that I love because there's more dialogue as usual, as always, overboard, and I don't want it in the movie yet again. But I really like it because this speech he does goes on a lot longer. There's a lot more. He says, I'm glad this happened. I've learned a little something. I don't want their love. Their love is false and suffocating. But their hatred and disgust, that frees me. Anyway, it's too damn muggy up there. Christmas, right? And I'm schwitzing.
I love it.
And then there's a little bit more where there's some more stuff, and then he says, it's time. What I've been waiting for my whole putrid life. They had their chance. They blew it, and now they'll pay. I think that's quite cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I like
You don't need
putrid
that, 'cause
life a lot.
You know he's meaning that anyway. You don't really need him to say it. But I do want to hear him say schwitzing.
Yes.
But yeah, that point then we do get the I am an animal, cold-blooded.
Yes.
Like, I have to ask, is he literally cold-blooded? Has he checked himself? Or is he meaning, like, no, I'm cold-blooded in that I'm now no longer a human. I don't consider myself to be human now.
He says crank up the AC. So he's literally trying, like, no, it needs to be colder. But, like, penguins live in cold climates, but they're not cold-blooded. They're mammals.
No, they're not. They're not.
No, wait, they're not mammals. They're birds, but they're not cold-blooded.
Maybe that's what the Red Triangle Gang have never had the heart to tell that to Oswald Cobblepot. Like, he keeps calling himself cold-blooded. We thought he meant a
You're thinking of lizards, sir. Like,
I was like, I think he might think that he's actually like that's the way. See, we never got an encyclopedia entry on penguins down in the sewer, so he's never read up on them.
Yeah, his logic is, well, they like the cold, so yeah, they must be cold-blooded. That's the only thing that makes sense.
He spent so many hours trying to teach those penguins how to fly, and he just no one got through to him. He's like, Oswald, it's not gonna work, dude. But
Nope. Yet again, we've seen The Simpsons, Niall. We know that as soon as people aren't there, penguins fly.
I do have to ask though. I can't actually try to work out the time frame of this whole thing because one of my questions is why are the Red Triangle Gang down in the sewer? Last we saw them, they were hanging out in Oswald's office because that seemed like that was their new home. But unless that was just his home, and he's like, "Get the hell back down the sewer." But yeah, because like we said, like Oswald would have taken him time to dry off when he jumped off the bridge and stuff, and then. At whatever point he found the duck, wherever that was parked up, how long did it take him to get back to the sewer? Because it's possible that they were hanging out and like wherever else they were, situated at the time, maybe in Oswald's apartment or whatever, and they've heard all about this. So they're like, "Oh, you better get back down to the sewer or something." And it's been like literally hours. It's taken them ages just to get back.
just putting around in that little duck boat, just going along. It's like, okay, around the next corner. Oh, nope, there's another stretch. I forgot.
Because it would be the only indication of Gotham being a big city. Because like all we see in the movie is Gotham Plaza and that bridge.
Yeah,
that's the only two locations of Gotham we ever see. So as far as we know, this city is like 10 meters big. That's much like the first movie where it was just like, yep, there's those two streets that we keep seeing over and over again. But yeah, maybe he just like, he got lost in the sewers. Like that's been driving around the duck boat for like days. Like, oh my god, I can't wait to get home. But yeah, so then of course he's starting to go back, fall back in his old plan where he says, bring me my, get me my lists, bring me the names, which is of course this thing he's been this through line he's been having going the whole movie where he's been storing the names of these kids even during his political campaign. He was getting the names of these kids, and now, and if you're not familiar with the movie, now you're going to start getting getting the reveal of what he was up to that whole time. I would say it would be a reveal for the show, but we've mentioned what he's been planning to do countless times so far in the season. So he's been planning to kill these kids the whole time. There you go. Spoiler alert.
Yes, the terrible fate that he speaks of is just murder. Basically.
He's just going to kill firstborn sons.
It's such a random thing. Like,
it's because he was a firstborn son.
But he's also
he was their firstborn son, but they treated him like number 2.
Okay, maybe it just seems like such a weird factor to pick up on.
It's
Not
very
that
strange.
He's like a penguin person, or the fact that he's like short, or that like, I mean, it could have been any factor. Like,
I'm gonna kill all the short sons.
Yeah, or like I'm gonna kill everyone born the same month I was born, or I don't know.
I was thinking like it would be. I wouldn't be surprised like with the Tim Burton of it all, like having it be like I'm gonna give them all penguin surgery so they look like me.
Oh my god, that would be great. Twisted experiments.
Like that would
on
almost
the
make
children.
more sense to me. Like
Yeah,
where it's
it
coming from.
does.
Like they all have to know what it feels like to be me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna deform them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good. I don't know how they'd get around. Like, because after he'd done it to a couple of kids, I think the jig would be up. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I think they have to find a way to make him scary, but get rid of lots of people in one swift go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the only real logic for it is that, as we mentioned earlier, like there's a whole Jesus comparison going along with the penguin, and there's also a Moses thing because obviously basket in the reeds, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the firstborn son's obviously like a reference to kind of like the Passover, basically, and King Herod's sending out to kill the firstborns of in Bethlehem because this is like, well, I hear this new king's coming to town apparently, so
All hail the new king in town.
yeah. So like, if it's just an allusion to that. Now the penguin has become the killer of the firstborn sons rather than being the firstborn son in danger himself, like Moses or Jesus, etc. That it's still this through line that they've got going on. It doesn't 100% work because it is just a lot of the time during the season we've just been like, yeah, but why? Like what? You don't need that to be there. Like it's just sort of an added thing. It's like, oh, it just makes it look like we've got subtext going. It's like,
Allude to it. That's fine. You don't want to be too deep with it in a movie like this.
Yeah. It doesn't want to get it too plotty. It can be difficult to come up with what is the villain's plan. You come up with a great villain, like the image of it and sort of what they do, what they act like, but what is the goal? Then coming with that can sometimes be difficult.
And too often it's just destroy the city. Ugh.
Take over the world.
Great plan. Take over the world. Okay, great. Or I'm trying to think of another cheesy one. What happens a lot? You can have
Sky portal. There's always a sky portal these days. They open up a dimensional rift in the sky, and a bunch of stuff comes out of it.
every superhero movie seems to end in a fight with monsters coming from a sky portal, or they twist it, they spin it on its head, a portal opens in the ground.
Or in Pacific Rim, under the ocean.
Under the ocean? Oh, yes. Has anyone on the planet watched Pacific Rim 2, right? I haven't met anyone who
No.
has. No. See, and I didn't mind one. I quite liked it.
No, I mean, that was directed by Guillermo del Toro, but number 2 was not. And I just, I remember one day I was like, I almost went to see it, but I went to see the Tomb Raider movie instead, which was okay.
Probably a good choice out of the two, I would think.
That's the Tomb Raider movie was strange to me in that, because I love those rebooted games, but my favorite part of that movie was just Lara Croft in London. Like at the beginning.
Yeah, it's by far.
When she's just going around, on her bike and stuff and robbing or gym trainers' apples and things like that. I was like, I
that
love
part was
this.
fantastic, yeah.
I love her as a character. And then as soon as I got to the tomb raiding stuff and it was all just exposition and running and stuff, I was like, oh, I'm kind of bored now. Like,
yeah,
Well,
for
it's
sure.
a bit different when you're controlling it, when you're interacting with it.
That's just because the first part of the movie is all just quirky character moments and building her as a personality, and then the second half is just like it's all action. There's no time to stop and have character moments. It's all just go. So it's just a very uneven movie, that Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider minute. There we go.
Coming soon.
That was it. Yes. But yeah, so we got the penguin starts giving out his handouts. Apparently, after all that time of him handwriting all these names and stuff, someone gave this guy a printer.
Yes.
Where he managed to go and photocopy the stuff and get it all printed out and nicely bound and these little things he's got.
He'd never heard of it. Like, what? You mean I don't have to handwrite it? What? Why did nobody tell me?
I love it. It had like nice leather covers and it's all like in gold embroidering with like my evil scheme by Oswald Cobblepot on it and stuff.
That's
I'd like to see him going to like a Kinko's coffee place and just being like, okay, here you go. Want it to be 8 by 11.5?
And I said collated.
Don't print on both sides.
presumably something like that has occurred. I can't see.
Also,
You had to do it at some
I
point.
can't see these guys having the gear and knowing what to do to just knock these up themselves. They probably had to go somewhere.
Also, like the idea that they might have had like on the front cover, it was saying my evil scheme, but it has like by Penguin scratched out, then Oswald Cobblepot written underneath, and now that's scratched out as well. The Penguin underneath that again.
See, I was thinking of something much more dark, so I'm not even going to say it.
Oh. And now you have to say it. That
I was just thinking the way you keep saying "My Evil Scheme" by Oswald Cobblepot. It's like, well, that's essentially what Mein Kampf was. Was like My Evil Scheme by Adolf Hitler.
Oh God. Yeah.
He laid it all out. Like, this is what I'm going to do. Well, kind of. I mean, not in...
It's not wrong.
Well, I think we would be remiss if we didn't say though as well. The fact that he says crank the AC, and for years I've always just assumed those big things in the background stuff are just like power generators because at the end they're utilized to kill Max Schreck, and I guess actually what they are is big fans because it looks like they crank the AC and then these things are kicking into gear. Yeah, that's the AC apparently. So Max Schreck killed by the Penguin's AC apparently.
Oh.
Death base.
It's weird. Apparently he's trying to keep it at a frigid temperature, but everyone seems to be just fine. Like the clowns and everyone are just kind of dressed normally, and they don't seem that cold.
No. Which, I mean, those clown outfits don't look warm.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, like you can. I guess you gotta acclimatize. Like I was actually saying to John just last night because I'm living in a house that has a small child in it, and like the living room and the bedrooms and stuff are very well heated, but they've got the people who own the house have got the attitude of like, oh, don't bother turning on the radiator in the kitchen because we're never in there long enough. So who needs to heat that room? And in the kitchen, loads, and it's freezing in there. But the little boy, like he's only one, but his mom is like, oh, you can't, you shouldn't put him in shoes all the time. It's bad for kids' feet. Apparently, it's bad for human feet to have them in shoes all the time. So he's running around barefoot and stuff. But like, I'll take him out into the kitchen and I'll be frozen. But because he's just used to it, he's got these bare feet, and he's just like, yep, this is my life. This is like, I don't mind going into this. Walking along the freezing tiles and stuff in my bare feet because that's just the way he's grown up and stuff.
So one thing, I'm okay with it being cold, and but my feet are always what gets cold first. So I'll at least need to have something on my feet.
Yeah.
I am wearing thermal socks at the minute. Like that's my constant state of being in the winter months. Is like just the November comes and it's like, all right, get out the thermal socks, baby.
I'm the same.
And
Yeah.
And they'll be on to like. Probably late March, I'd imagine, but we'll see. We'll see how global warming works out.
I don't like having bare
year.
feet because I've got giant feet like a clown anyway, and I've got hideous broken little toes on both feet because I've snapped them.
Oh no!
They're not that bad. They're just like they kind of rotate sideways somewhat.
Oh,
I broke them both about 4 times each.
We didn't.
Oh, jeez.
We have speculated about the Penguin's bare feet in several episodes because he's got flipper hands. Does he have flipper feet and stuff? But I think someone did send something to the listeners page.
Yes, they did.
Of a birth certificate that did have flipper feet that doesn't feature in the movie. So I don't know if it's a fan-made thing.
oh, cute.
But it's.
Oh yeah, it makes sense to me. I think I've said this before, but. It adds to the fact that he's waddling around. He can't really walk properly. And it's like, well, he's crammed these flippers into shoes. He's trying to be like a human, and he's not.
Aww.
Plus, like, who's out
Poor
there
penguin.
making flipper shoes for the penguin? Like nobody. He's got to adjust somehow. So.
But again, that's
Oh, you'd think he'd have some capability to like. I mean, he put jets on his duck boat.
true.
Like you'd think he'd have like the technology to make that happen.
Yeah, maybe he's just a brand guy. He's like, I love Doc Martens, so I'm going to make sure I've got my Doc Martens on the whole damn time.
He loves docks. So
I think he's going.
until they make
I think he's going for Gucci's.
Oh.
It would be great though if they had during his campaign they made comfortable Gucci loafers for his flipper feet, and he had like an advertising deal with him or something where he's just like, "Hey, are you a man of a wider foot like me?"
You're gonna like it, I guarantee.
And then they become really popular, and then they make Penguin brand. So now you could look like the Penguin, or Penguin brand boots. They make your feet look like flippers.
Hell yeah.
And just like in the third and fourth movie, people are still wearing them. It's like, what? They're comfortable shoes. Come on. Like, I don't care that the Penguin made them.
I wouldn't care. I'd wear them.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this. That's all my notes for this minute and for this week. Do any of you guys have anything else about this minute in particular you want to get out?
I just wanted to say I like seeing his crew, the Red Triangle gang. I especially like the organ grinder.
Yeah.
We see him for a minute, Vincent Schiavelli.
I mean, I guess like unless either of you two, do you have any fond memories of first seeing this movie, or do you Jessa? I know you said you've not seen the movie the entire way through or anything, but Murren, do you have any memories of first seeing this? Was this an integral part of your childhood? This movie, or
No, I didn't see it till I was. I don't think I saw it till I was an adult or at least a teenager. Same with the '89. I probably saw that one a few years earlier, but I didn't. They just weren't a part of my childhood. But seeing this later, I definitely I really appreciate the strangeness of it, and I just love the story behind. Tim Burton made a great Batman movie. Everyone seemed to love it. Like, okay, you can do what you want now, Tim, and then he made this monstrosity that just everyone left the theater screaming and the children just like crying, and I wish I could have been there to see that. I mean, sure you talked about like all the merchandising that is for this movie, which is crazy to think about.
yes.
I'm wondering, did they have an organ grinder and monkey toy you could get at McDonald's? I would have liked that.
That's a good point. Actually, we have talked about the merchandising and we've looked at some of it, but we haven't seen anything of the organ grinder. Was there anything?
no, I don't think so. I think they were quite limited in like they weren't. It wasn't like Star Wars where like every single thing that's on screen gets a toy.
What a film! What a film! And what guests and what a week we have had here, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't, then I don't know what to tell you. I apologize.
And listen to Point Break Minute.
Listen to Point Break Minute. Yeah, if you hated us but you liked our lovely guests, go and listen to that because there's much less of us.
Yeah. And Jessa, if you do
Although there
watch
will be
the full movie, make sure to tell us what you thought of the whole thing rather than just like a bit of it.
Will do.
Yes, and in fact, feel free if you do send in a little audio review. We could always slot it into an episode.
It's like a 25-minute round. Like, this is the worst movie I have ever seen.
I hate this.
To be honest, if that came to us in the inbox, I would post that as its own bonus episode. That'd be fine.
You should do that. I'll watch it again with you.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, one final time, would you like to tell our listeners where they can find Point Break Minute? And maybe if people want to get in touch with you to tell you they loved you or hated you.
If you have any complaints, please at let's see, what should it be?
At Shove It.
Yes.
At Shrek the Third Movie. If that's a Twitter handle, probably not anymore. If you like us, check out Point Break Minute. We're on the internet.
Yay.
And I'll go further. On iTunes, Google Play. If you listen to us and like us, go ahead and give a review. We always like that. Please, 5 stars preferably. That's always appreciated. And again, I will be starting podcasting a quarter movie at a time. When you're here, your family. About the Fast and Furious series, and we truly will be family when we get to that point.
Oh, well, and send us messages all over the internet as well. Buy our Public t-shirts, damn it, and give us a review. We will see you again next week. Sadly, these guys won't be here, but we'll have new guests and new minutes. Thank God, not the same minutes. See you then.
Next time, Bullet from a Brawly. An inquisitive clown questions Cobblepot and soon learns that getting shot isn't a little, it's a lot. But while the murky miscreant is plotting murder, which mechanical maestro will try to get his old Batmobile to purr? Find out next week. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.